This is crazy. You can't even script a better story for the cycles of Bitcoin. This is just playing out unbelievably, way different in terms of consistency than I even thought was possible. I charted this chart back here in 2018. It's definitely been on pace, but what's most impressive about this isn't how on pace it is. For me, it's the narrative that we're sitting within right now. And I want to talk about this as it kind of coincides with the story of supply shock for Bitcoin. It is happening. This is something as crypto holders that we've just been discussing for years, and it's actually really starting to play out. And this cycle that we're about to go in might be the first most powerful cycle in terms of supply shock actually happening for Bitcoin. And I want to show you exactly why, a really nice illustration. Now, why is this story playing out so well? I want to just start with this article that I just came across. It was from today. SEC approval of spot Bitcoin ETF is unlikely to be a game changer for crypto markets. JP Morgan. Let me just say, is it of no surprise, while whether you agree with the spot ETF or not and you're happy about it for Bitcoin, doesn't matter. It lends itself to a very bullish narrative, and it also lends itself to this scenario of supply shock for Bitcoin. I'm going to show you in just a minute. But is it of no surprise we're getting a negative headline like this coming out of JP Morgan? And this is what they're saying. Any SEC approval of spot Bitcoin ETF will not be a game changer for crypto markets for a number of reasons. This is JP Morgan saying this. There's now more optimism the regulator is going to approve, right? It's saying SEC's, it's looking good. They might approve this. And JP Morgan is saying spot Bitcoin ETFs have existed for some time outside the US and Canada and Europe, but have failed to attract large investor interest. Bitcoin funds overall, including futures-based and physically backed funds, have attracted little investor interest since Q2 2021. This is just sounding like, I get comments a lot in terms of crypto where people are just like, their negativity, I get the sense they're only being negative. They only are finding a negative angle because they're feeling like they're missing the boat in some sense. And so in general, they're kind of rooting for the failure of crypto, right? And that's what this looks like to me. They're rooting for the failure of crypto and Bitcoin because they've missed the boat. They're not on the boat currently. Also failing to benefit from investor outflows. Physical backed Bitcoin ETFs offer some advantages over future-based, but these are rather marginal. Just look at the negativity. And it's worth noting, this is Jamie Dimon of JP Morgan. Just listen right here.
Because you just think the whole thing just is
going to zero?
Going to zero and it's fake?
Bitcoin itself is a hyped up fraud.
How long is he going to maintain that stance is the question. Because I think the whole thing is going to flip. JP Morgan probably going to be bullish on Bitcoin sooner or later. We've seen this story play out even most recently. Larry Fink over at BlackRock. In 2017, BlackRock CEO Larry Fink discussed Bitcoin as an index of money laundering. Today, in 2023, Larry Fink says this.
Bitcoin is an international asset. Bitcoin is an international asset.
It depends how long it's going to take, but they seem to come around to Bitcoin. The question is, when is this guy going to jump on the boat? Now, all of this lends itself to, and all of these narratives lends itself to what's actually happening with supply shock. And I want to show you exactly what I mean. Bitcoin's exchange supply has now fallen to its lowest levels since February 2018. Now, I want to just make a note of something. This is, a few weeks ago, this is mid-June. Traders continue moving Bitcoin to self-custody during the uncertainty surrounding Binance and Coinbase. So remember, besides the spot ETF stuff that's happening right now and people are anticipating an approval maybe from the SEC or not, remember what's going on with the Binance and Coinbase case. This is causing people, because of these exchanges, it's causing people to realize, you know what? I need to get my crypto, I need to get my Bitcoin off of exchanges. This is kind of crazy what's happening with the SEC. And this is actually what the chart looks like. You can just see that people are doing that, right? The amount of Bitcoin on exchanges is falling, right? So now we have this dynamic where there's multiple things coming into play in terms of Bitcoin supply shock. Remember, when we talk about supply shock, this is the concept that Bitcoin has this diminishing supply, the amount of Bitcoin coming into circulation at these halvings, right? And so let's dig further into this. Besides this, people moving their Bitcoin off of exchanges, check this out. 70% of all Bitcoin in existence is being held and has not been sold for over a year. So not only people taking their crypto off exchanges, their Bitcoin off exchanges, they're just simply holding. And that number has only increased through all the stuff that has happened, FTX collapse, etc. There is less excess supply available than there has ever been in the history of Bitcoin existence. And wait till I show you this chart. If supply continues to constrict as it has been, and those holders are not selling, regardless of the crash of some of the biggest VC firms, regardless of SEC and what they're doing, then it's inevitability that price is going to rise to new highs. Let's dig deeper. Check this out. We've only seen the distribution phase of Bitcoin adoption. We've only seen the distribution phase of Bitcoin adoption. Price growth was muted each cycle because of new coins entering circulation. The 2024 halving will coincide with less coins available for purchase. And look at this chart. For the first time after this next halving, look at that decrease there. Less coins available for purchase. This will be the first halving this has ever occurred. I'll leave you with this thought. Every spot ETF in USA is naming Coinbase their custodian, but they only have 446,000 Bitcoin. This will be fun. You think about that. Every custodian or all these spot Bitcoin ETF filings are naming Coinbase as their custodian. And with all of this, besides the fact that Coinbase only has 446,000 Bitcoin as of this tweet, July 6th, yesterday, besides all of that, people removing their Bitcoin from exchanges and just this supply shock because people are holding their Bitcoin amidst everything that has happened, it doesn't look like people are selling. What do you think is going to happen? And yeah, there's going to be these takes that I think are just inaccurate and driven by a fear of missing out. They missed a boat. They want to see this not succeed. They want to see Bitcoin fall. I think that's what this is. I don't think this is actually taking into account actual data and actually what's happening within the industry. And that is to say, big money's getting on board now. We've talked about this for years. All the while, we have this percentage of supply available. Is going to be a crazy next cycle. It will be very fun and interesting to see how this plays out. Let me know your thoughts about all of these things, everybody. Hit the like button if you enjoyed this content. Please subscribe if you're not a subscriber. I'll see you in the next video. God bless.